Hello, good morning one and all. Today we are going to today we are going to understand the important topic called loops, which is also known as iterative statements. Generally, an iterative statement is nothing but repeating of some set of statements number of times until the condition is satisfied. This is the basic definition of an iterative statement. I am repeating the same set of statements number of times until the condition is satisfied. So why I have repeated the same definition is, I am repeating the same definition until you people understand. That's what a loop is. Let us compare with a real world example. So generally, once you have started your BTech, you are going to start from the first year. So how many years you are going to do your BTech? You are going to come to the university 4 years. So you are repeating the same set of statements number of times until your BTech is completed. This is generally called as a loop. Let us go into the topic, loops. The main aim of the session is a loops in a C language is very familiarized about how to execute some block of statement or a set of statements which is used to repeat until the condition is satisfied. Just now I gave the definition. Repetition of same set of statement until the condition is satisfied is called a loop. Generally, the instructional objectives of this session is understand how developers enable to repeat a block code for a specific number of times. How many times you want to repeat the statements, you have to understand. Second is, you can simplify your code so that you can avoid writing the same code repeating the same code number of times, so that the time complexity of your program also can be reduced, and it can be reduced errors which may occur during copying and pasting the same code number of times. So this is what the main objective of this loops are. The main learning outcomes from this session are, you will be able to understand the concept of loops by providing the way to perform repetitive tasks or repetitive set of statements until the condition is satisfied, and you will be familiarized with different kinds of loops like for loop, while loop and a do while loop, and you can able to differentiate where we are going to use which type of loop has to be used in which situation. That also you can be able to understand, and also you can able to understand a very important keywords called a break and continue statement, and finally you can able to solve some real world programs with the help of these loops. Generally, this session we are going to discuss about what are the different types of loops which are available. Next, the syntax, the flow chart, and how we are going to represent a while and do while statements, and we are going to discuss some basic problems to solve by using this while loop and do while loop, and we are going to solve some mathematical problems with the help of these looping statements. Let us see. The basic description of the session will be, it covers the basic concepts of what do you mean by a loop and what are the various parts which are available in the loops. Like the first one, initialization, how we can use a boolean operator or a conditional operator, and the next very important is increment and decrement operators. So while writing any looping program, these three are a very important steps. The first one is initialization is must, a very important point. The second is the condition, and the third is increment and decrement operators. So whichever loop you are using in a program, these three are mandatory. The second is, by defining the syntax of all the loop statements, we can say the same problem can be solved with different approaches. So you can able to understand for a particular problem it is not mandatory that to use a specific loop. We can use any type of loop, right, based on the problem. and you can identify the difference also among the different looping statements also. It also includes some real world problems, how to solve some real world problems by using these looping statements also. And finally, the end of the session, you can be able to identify the different types of looping statements for solving real world problems. So generally, as I told you in the just before, a loop is nothing but you can repeat the same set of instructions number of times until the condition is satisfied. That is what a loop is. Just go into deep of it. This is there are three kinds of loops basically in C programming. The first one is a while loop, the second is a do while loop, and the third is for loop. And one more point, a very interesting point here you have to understand is the while loop and for loop are called entry control loops, whereas a do while loop is a exit control loop. As it is not there in the slide, but please make a note of it, a while loop and a for loop are called entry controlled. The name itself says entry controlled, whereas a do while loop is a exit controlled. I'll just relate with a small real world example so that it will be connected with the current loops. So once you go for a cinema theater, you want to watch a movie. Now will the inside a ticket checking person will he allowed you to sit in the theater with a ticket or without a ticket? Obviously our answer is he'll check the ticket. Once you have a ticket for a particular show, then only he'll allow you to sit inside a theater. So this is called entry control, where you are entering, whenever you are entering into something, first the condition has to be satisfied, then only you are allowed to go inside. Otherwise, if there is no ticket in your hand, obviously they'll throw you out of the theater. This is called an entry controlled loop. It checks the condition, then only it allows you to enter into the loop. This is called an entry control loop. So for loop and while loop both are called entry control loops, whereas a do while loop is a exit control loop. There is a small real world example for this also. Once your cinema is completed, you have watched the movie and you came down for a parking area where you have taken the ticket, but there is no necessity of paying the money before. While leaving the theater, you can pay the money, right? This is called exit control. So while you are going out, they'll check whether you have a parking ticket or not. That is what your exit control loop. So parking in a cinema theater is called exit control, but a cinema ticket is called an entry control. Now tell me what are the entry controlled and exit control? For loop and while loop are called entry control loops. It means that once again, if the condition is satisfied, then only you can able to get into the loop. While going out of the cinema theater, if you are checking the condition, then that is called exit control loop. So these are the two important types of loops what we have in C programming. So as a part of it, the first kind of loop is a while loop. Let us see the syntax of a while loop. The next is how a flow chart of a while loop will be, and then we'll see with a small example how we are going to solve real world problems using while loop. So let us see the syntax. The syntax for a loop, as I told you, we have three important parts. The first one is initialization part, the second one is the condition part, and the third is increment or decrement part. So if you carefully observe this, once while loop you have starting, before itself, at the top you have to use initialization part. This is here you have to initialize a value. Once you have initialized a value, then you can go with while followed by the condition, open braces, and whatever statements you want to repeat, you have to repeat inside the while loop. And after the number of statements have been completed, then immediately after statement n, you have to write increment or decrement operator. So this is what the basic syntax of a while loop. So if you carefully observe, so here you can use initialization. Before the while loop, you have to start with the initialization. The second, what I told you, you have to write a condition. A condition will be always inside a loop. That's why we have written while followed by the condition. And once the condition has been written, you have to open the curly braces, and how many statements you want to repeat, those many statements you can be written inside the while loop. After the nth statement, after putting the semicolon, next you can write either increment or decrement based on your problem. So this is what the basic syntax of your while loop is. Once the syntax has been completed, let's see the flow chart. So first we are as this symbol used for start. Next, immediately the arrow directly it is showing to the condition. But while designing a flow chart, there is one more part what I told you before condition, initialization. So a small box here, it represents your initialization. Once initialization is done, then it goes to the condition. It checks the condition. If the condition is true, you can check it. If the condition is true, then whatever statements you write inside the loop, it is going to repeat. Again, see where I'm going to connect this. So again I'm dragging my arrow and again I'm connecting to the condition, right? So once this code is executed, what does the code block contains? All these statements, whatever statements you want to repeat, those statements will be written inside a code block, along with a very important point, increment and decrement operator, remember, right? So once increment and decrement operator also has been written in the code, again see where I'm connecting, it checks the condition. Again, if the condition is true, go inside, repeat the statement. Again I'm connecting to the condition. So this will be repeated until my condition is satisfied. What I told you, repetition of same set of statements number of times until the condition is satisfied is called a loop. That's what I'm telling you is I'm repeating the same set of statements until the condition is satisfied is called a loop. Once the condition is false, becomes false, then obviously where it is connected, you can check it. Once the condition is false, it comes to, this symbol is used for stop. You stop your program. So this is the way how a loop flowchart has been designed. I'm repeating once again, my dear students. First, you have to start with the initialization. Second, followed by the condition. If the condition is true, whatever statements you want to repeat, those many statements you can write inside the code block along with increment or decrement, remember. Once this is done, if the condition becomes false, it obviously comes out of the loop and it goes to the stop, right? So this is the way how a while loop works. Without moving the slide, I would like to relate a small example how a while loop can be used. I want to print KL University 10 times. This is what the task is. Very simple, my dear students. I want to repeat the name KL University 10 times. How you are going to repeat with the help of this while loop? Just check it. Very simple. I'll just write a small program for you. You can check it. Int. I'm sorry. I'll start with, what is the first one, my dear student? What I told you, you have to initialize. I'll initialize a variable I with 1 because KL University has to be printed 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on up to 10 times. So where I have to start? That is called initialization. From where I have to start? I have to start from 1. That's why I have started with I is equals to 1. This is called initialization. Very good. Once you got the initialization, what is the next step, my dear students? You have to write the while condition. So how you write? You can see the syntax here. While followed by condition. What is how you write a condition? You know, it's in your hand only, my dear student. It's in your hand only. How many times I told you to print KL University? 10 times. From where you have started? 1. So what is the variable name that I have stored? 1. I is my variable name. So this is my variable name. So I less than or equals to, how many times I told you to print KL University? 10 times. So while I less than or equals to 10, curly braces open. That's what the syntax. Just see the left side. You can able to see the syntax. Based on the syntax, I am writing the program. This is the way how we have to develop the code, right? First you have to write the syntax, flowchart, algorithm, and then you can go for the program. So while I less than or equals to 10 is my condition. Once the condition is satisfied, then what are the statements I told you to work it out with? I want to print KL University 10 times. Obviously, I'll write a statement called printf KLU. Very good. This is what the statement I want to print. How many times I told you to print? 10 times. So I have started with I equals to 1. I have, for the first time, let us see. Initially, where the I value has started? 1. Very good. Let's check the condition. While is 1 less than or equals to 10? Yes, your answer is yes, because 1 less than or equals to 10, it goes inside a loop. What you are going to print? KLU. So KLU has been printed for the first time. First time KLU is printed. Now it has to be incremented or decremented. That's what my question is. Is the I value has to be incremented or decremented? Obviously your answer is increment. Very good. Most of the students are telling that increment. So I'll write I plus plus. I plus plus is called my increment operator, where now I becomes 2 because your initial I value is 1. Now it has become 2. Just close the bracket. Enough. Now I become 2. Again it goes to the condition. As per the flow chart, check it. Code block is over. I has become 2. Again it comes to condition. Condition. What is the condition? Again I wrote I less than or equals to 10. Now what is the I value? Now updated I value is, this is the first time KL has printed. Now the I value has become 2. Very good. Again check the condition. What is the condition I wrote? I less than or equals to 10. Is 2 less than or equals to 10? Yes, your answer is yes. Just go inside the while loop. Just go inside. What is the statement you wrote? KLU. So KLU is printed for the second time. Very good. KLU has been printed for the second time. Again in the next step what you are doing? I plus plus. What is the I value in the previous step? 2. Now your I value will be updated. Your I becomes 3 now. Very good. Your I becomes 3 now. Again I've joined this line to the condition. See, again I'm checking the condition. Now what is the updated value of I? 3 is my updated value. Very good. Is 3 is less than or equals to 10? Yes. Just get inside the loop, and what you are going to print? KLU. Again for the third time KLU is printed for the third time. Again immediately what you are doing, my dear students? You are incrementing the I value. Now I has become 4. So the previous step I is 3. Now your I has incremented to 4. Check the condition. Will it print or will it come out? I am waiting for your answer. Yes, your answer is it's 2. Again it goes inside for the fourth time KLU. Now can you tell me how many times the KLU will be printed? It prints up to I is equals to 10. The KLU will be printed for the 10 times. Now tell me, in the next step I becomes 11. Here I becomes 11. Again just go to the condition. Is 11 less than or equals to 10, my dear students? No. Now your answer is no, because 11 is not less than or equals to 10. So ultimately what I told you, if the condition becomes false, will you go inside a loop or will you come out of the loop? I am waiting for your answer. Obviously your answer is you will be coming out of the loop. So it comes false and you stop the program. It goes to the stop, and finally if you see on the screen, the KLU will be printed how many times, my dear students? 10 times it prints KLU on the screen. This is the way how a while loop can be used. Now tell me, for example, if I want to print KLU for 100 times, now tell me what are the changes to be done here? Very simple. Your answer, I think most of the students has an answer in their mind. Very simple. Can I change in initialization? No. Some of you are telling no, because I start obviously with 1. Now where I have to change? Very good. Most of the students have a solution in the mind. Sir, I am going to change in while loop condition, because my initialization will be a constant. It will be same. I have to start with 1, and how many times I want to print, that's what the important thing is. So how many times I told you to ask you to print? 100 times. So the only change what you are going to do is, instead of 10 you have to put 100. Fine. Then how many times KLU will be printed, my dear students? It prints 100 times. Whenever it comes 101 times. Now 101 is less than or equals to 100? No. So finally, once the condition becomes false, it just comes out of the loop. So this is what the basic example of a while loop is. Now let's see. Next, we'll just move on to the next slide so that you can able to get in general how to use a loop concept. So I hope most of you students now they are very eager to learn various examples on how to use a while loop. Now next my question is, I want to print numbers from 1 to 10. I want to print a numbers from 1 to 10 using a while loop. Now I am waiting for your response. I'll just give 1 minute of time. Basically most of the students who are watching this video could be able to solve by seeing this example, like how to print a KL University 10 times. Just now we have seen. Now your task is how can you print numbers from 1 to 10. Yes, let's see how to print your numbers from 1 to 10. As usual, we start with initialization. Can you tell me what is how you are going to initialize? I is equals to, very good, int I is equals to 1 is your initialization, very good. Yes, how many what is the question I gave you? To print 1 to 10 numbers, so I have to start with 1. So what is the next immediately after initialization, where you have to go? You can check here. You have to go for a condition. So write down the condition in while loop. While, what is the condition I told you? I told you to print the numbers up to 10 only. So while I less than or equals to 10. Very good. You know how to print a value on a monitor using a printf. So how you are going to print the value? Printf %d comma I. This is the way how you are going to print I value on the screen, as everyone knows that. %d is a format specifier, as everyone knows that, to print an integer on the screen. So what is the I value initially, my dear students? 1. Is 1 less than or equals to 10? Yes. Print the I value. So it prints 1 on the screen. Now, so I is 1 now. So 1 is printed on the screen. Fine. Now next immediately 2 has to be printed. Then what you have to write? Will you write a decrement operator or increment operator? Yes. Most of you in the mind, your answer is I plus plus is there in your mind. Obviously increment operator. Now tell me what is your I value now. So your answer is, sir, my I value is 2. Again go to the condition. Is 2 less than or equals to 10? Yes. Go inside. Again 2 will be printed on the screen. Very good. 2 is printed on the screen. Fine. Will you go for increment or a decrement? Obviously I have written increment operator. Your next I value will be 3. So 3 is printed. Can you tell me your final answer? It goes up to I is equals to 10. 10 will be printed on the screen finally. Now tell me what is the next value of I? Whenever I becomes 11, will it prints or will it comes out of the loop? Obviously your answer is sir, the condition is false. So I am going to come out of the loop. So 11 less than or equals to 10. That is wrong. That is false. So just come out of the loop. On the screen you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 will be printed on the screen. See, repetition of same set of statements number of times until the condition is satisfied is called a loop. What are the statements you have repeated, my dear students? Printf and I++. These are the two important statements you have repeated until the condition is satisfied. This is my second example. We'll go with one more example and then we'll discuss about do while loop. My next question is, most of you now after listening to this session, you came to a conclusion that, sir, yes, we are somewhat okay with a while loop. Sir, I can write a program, basic programs on my own. Once you got a confidence, now my next very simple problem is, I want to print the numbers from 10 to 1, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 and so on up to 1. How I am going to write the program? Very simple. What are the changes to be done in the same program? I want the answer from you students. Yes, you know the answer, very good. Some of the students have given the answer, very good. Your I starts with 10, very good, because my initialization starts with 10 because I have to print the numbers from 10. Next I have to go with 9, 8 and so on. So that's why I have started initializing with I value as 10. Now what is the second change to be done, my dear students? It has to be changed in condition. Very good, very good. You are getting the answer in your mind. Your I condition has to be changed. What is the condition actually? See, what is the condition we are going to write is, your I value is 10. So I'll write like I value must be greater than or equals to, up to how many numbers I told you to print? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 up to 1. So I'll go with I greater than or equals to 1. That's what the condition. And everything is same, or do I have to modify anything? Yes, very good. Most of the students have got the solution in the mind. Sir, this is no way increment. We have to go for a decrement because after 10, 9 has to come. It's not 11. So then immediately I'll go with one more interesting statement called I minus minus. This is the way how you can print the numbers in the reverse order, right, from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 etc. Let's check whether it's working or not. What is the initial value of I, my dear students? It is 10. Fine. Is 10 greater than or equals to 1? Yes, obviously your answer is 1. It's true. It goes inside the loop and it prints I value. So for the first time, when I is 10, the 10 value is printed on the screen. Very good. Next, immediately what you are doing, my dear students? I minus minus. Your I value is 10. Now immediately you are doing I minus minus. So you can change the value as I equals to 9. Is 9 greater than or equals to 1, my dear students? Your answer is yes. So print the value of I. So 9 is printed on the screen. So 9 is printed on the screen. Next, what is the next thing? I am waiting for your answer. Yes, your I value has to be changed. What is the I value, my dear students? Is it 11 or 8? Yes, the answer is 8. So 8 is printed on the screen. So this process will be repeated until you get I value as 1. If I value becomes 0, is 0 greater than or equals to 1? Yes, your answer is false. It comes out of the loop, and it finally stops. So this is the way how you can use a while loop. Next we'll go with a do while. Very simple, my dear students. Once you have understood how to use a while loop, immediately within a fraction of seconds you can able to understand by seeing the flow chart or a syntax. You can able to understand how to write a do while loop. The most important point or most important difference between a while loop and a do while loop is, please make a note of it. In a while loop, I told you it's called an entry control loop. Once the condition is satisfied, then only the set of statements what you have written inside the loop will be executed. But the do while loop is not like that. It is called an exit control loop. As I told you, in do while loop, at least one time whatever statements you wrote, it will be printed, then only it checks the condition. Right? This is what the difference between a while loop and a do while loop. I am repeating the difference. In a do while loop, at least once the statements whatever you wrote inside the loop will be printed at least once, then only it checks the condition. But in while loop it is not like that. Once the condition is satisfied, then only whatever statements you wrote inside will be executed. Once again, in a do while loop, at least once the statement is going to be printed because the condition you have written at last. But in while loop, once the condition is satisfied, then only you have to go inside the loop. That is what the difference, my dear students. Let us see how the flowchart will be. Before that, we are going to see the syntax. As usual, we will start with the initialization. Just like while loop only, we start with initialization, my dear students, followed by a keyword called do, followed by curly brace open. Same, whatever statements you want to write inside the do statement, you write down do, set of statements, and after nth statement, as you know that, you can use increment or decrement operator. You can use increment or decrement operator. right? And finally, you see the syntax, you have opened the do. Immediately once your statement has been completed, increment and decrement also has been completed, then you close the do, and immediately just beside of the do you have to write the while condition, and very important, you have to put a semicolon after while. Remember, this is a very important point. So do, set of statements, increment or decrement, close it, while, then you write down the condition. Immediately after the condition, remember, you have to put a semicolon, right? This is the way how we have to write the syntax of a do while. Just go for a flow chart. As usual, here you will be having a initialization part. Once you have initialized, see what is the difference you have seen between a while and a do while. Condition, then only code block, then only if it satisfies, then only it goes inside the loop. But in a do while you can check it. First code, whatever statements you want to write, you can write it, then only it checks the condition. If the condition is true only, again it goes to the code block, again condition checking, code block. Whatever you write the code, it repeats the set of it repeats the number of times until the condition is true. Once the condition becomes false, you can check it, it comes to stop position, right? So this is the way how a flowchart of a do while can be compared with a while loop. I am repeating once again, my dear students, the only difference between a do while and a while is, in a do while, first you can write the code, set of statements will be executed at least once, then only it checks the condition. But in while loop, it's not like that. First you have to write the condition. If the condition is true, then only you can go inside the loop. So this is the way how we can show the difference between a while loop and a do while loop. What is the first program we have written in a while loop, my dear students? Yes, KLU has to be printed 10 times on the screen using while loop. Just the same program we are going to repeat. KLU has to be repeated 10 times using do while. Let's start. The first is, as everyone knows, that the first part must be initialization. So int I is equals to 1 is my initialization. You know that I is equals to 1. Very good. Immediately you can see the syntax. After initialization, what is there? Do, curly braces open. Very good. You have to write the statement. What is the statement? You want to print KLU 10 times. So I'll write first print double quotations KLU semicolon. After that, what you wrote? Increment or decrement? Yes, you have written increment. Your statement has been done. Then immediately once your statement is over, you have to close the do. After do, immediately you have to write the condition while. What is the condition, my dear students? I less than or equals to 10. This is the way how you have to print KLU 10 times using do while loop. So you can see here carefully, you can observe, after while loop immediately I kept a semicolon. But in a normal while loop, if you put a semicolon, it kicks you. I mean, it gives a compilation error. But in a do while, it is acceptable. That's what the difference you have to understand. Let's see whether this works or not. Initially, my dear students, I start with how much? 1. Very good. Do. First, immediately what you are printing for the first time? KLU is printed. But in while, it's not like that. It checks the condition. But in do while, first it prints the statement. KLU is printed for the first time. Immediately what you are doing, my dear students? Incrementing. So what is the updated value of I? 2. Then only it checks the condition. While. What is the I value now? 2. Is 2 less than or equals to 10? Yes. 2 less than or equals to 10. Again it goes to do. Do, get inside. What you are printing? KLU for the second time. Very good. Again, I plus plus. I is 3 now. Again it checks the condition. Is 3 less than or equals to 10? Yes. It's just like you have watched the film. You are going out of the theater. Whatever, you have taken the ticket during exit time. See, that's what the do while loop tells. It checks the condition last. That is I value is 3. Is 3 less than or equals to 10? Yes. Again go to do. Print KLU for the third time. Next I will be 4. Print KLU for the fourth time. And so on. When I becomes 10, 10 less than or equals to 10, yes, KLU. Next I becomes 11. So I is 11. If I is 11 less than or equals to 10? No, is just stops, it comes out of the loop. So this is the way how you can print KLU 10 times using do while loop. Very simple. I hope everyone understood how to print KLU 10 times using while loop and using do while loop. Hope everyone understood the difference. That's what the main important scenario of the session is. You have to understand the difference between a while loop and a do while loop. While loop, it checks the condition, then only it prints the KLU for the first time. But in do while loop, it's not like that. First it prints the KLU for the first time, next it checks the condition. That's what the difference between do while and a while. Now what is the second question, second problem we have solved using while loop? Yes, I want to print 1 to 10 numbers using do while loop. First one, initialization. Very good. I'll start with I is equals to 1, int I is equals to 1. Fine, good. Next, do. Instead of print KLU, what is the thing we have to write, my dear students? Yes, most of the students are very active. They know the answers, they are getting the answers in the mind. Your answer is, I know what is there in your mind. Printf percentage d comma I. This is what your answer. Very good. So I is printed. So I is equals to how much, my dear student, initially? I equals to 1. Do printf percentage d comma I. So for the first time, I will be printed. What is I value? So 1 is printed on the screen. Immediately what you are doing? I plus plus. I will be 2. Is 2 less than or equals to 10? Yes. Again go inside. Do print I value. So second time I will be printed. Next, again I will be incremented. 3. 3 less than or equals to 10? Yes. Again go to do. Inside the statement I is printed. So 3 is printed on the screen. So if you carefully observe, 3, 4 and so on up to 10 it is printed. When comes to 11, I becomes 11. Is 11 less than or equals to 10, my dear students? Your answer is no. So it comes out of the program. Once it comes out of the program, what is the output you can see on the screen? 1 to 10 numbers. This is the way how you can use do while loop. Now my third problem what we have solved in while loop is printing the numbers in reverse order, 10, 9, etc. Same, nothing difference. The only syntax will be changed. So I start with, yes, very good. I start with 10. Will you write I plus plus or I minus minus? Yes, I know your answer. Your answer is I minus minus. So now, is my problem is over? No, you are telling yes. Most of you, sir, my problem is over. No, my dear students, still I have to change the condition. What is the condition? What is the condition you have to change? See, what is the condition we are going to change? I greater than or equals to 1 is my condition. That's what the condition is. Let's check whether it works or not. 10, I equals to 10. First it prints 10 on the screen. 10 on the screen. Next I minus minus. So I will be 9 now. Is 9 less than or 9 greater than or equals to 1? Yes. So again go to do and print 9 on the screen. Next I minus minus. Your answer is I will be 8. 8. Again 8 will be printed. 8 is printed on the screen and so on. If you, the next will be 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. If 0 is 0 greater than or equals to 1, your condition is false. Just come out of the loop. So at that time you can see the output on the screen like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the way how you are going to print the numbers from 10 to 1 using do while loop. I hope it is very clear that the difference between a while loop and a do while loop. Hope everyone understood, my dear students? Yes, very good. The next is, so this is the way how we can show the difference between a while and a do while. First we have seen the definition and we have shown the working of it and which type of loop is it and the syntax. As I told you, a while loop is an entry control loop, whereas a do while loop is an exit control loop, and you can see the syntax at the fourth point, while loop syntax and a do while, right? So this is already we have seen. So this is the basic difference between a while and a do while. So you can go with the simple examples of how to write the how to write a program to find the squares of a digit of a given number. You can write a program to check whether a number is a palindrome or not. As you know that a palindrome number is a number which 121 is a palindrome, because if you reverse the given number, again the same number will be repeated. That type of statements are called palindrome numbers. And different programs using loop, for while loop and do while loop, you can execute it. Let us see one more example to find the sum of elements in a using while loop and using do while loop. Very simple, my dear students. How to find the sum of n natural numbers? You know that most of you, sir, if you ask a question to how to write a program for sum of first n natural numbers, immediately you are from a fresh intermediate background, you'll be telling the formula, sir, n into n plus 1 by 2 or something will be their formula for sum of n natural numbers. Don't use a formula. Using a loop, we have to calculate sum of first n natural numbers. Let us see. So I start with the main function followed by int I comma n. These are my variables what I used in a program, and I want to find the sum of first 10 natural numbers, like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 9 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10, which is equals to 55 must be the output on the screen. This is what sum of first n natural numbers is. So my n value I have to read. So what is the n value? 10. Where is the initial value? Where I have to start? You can see here. You can see the example. Based on the example, you can develop the code. As your I value starts with 1, so I is equals to 1. Immediately you have to write the condition, as everyone knows that 1 less than or equals to, what is the n value you have taken? 10. So is the condition is true? 1 less than or equals to 10? Yes. Very good. Go inside the loop. You have written a statement called sum is equals to sum plus I. Now what is the sum value initially? You have taken 0. Sum is equals to sum plus I. What is the I value? 1. 0 plus 1, which is equals to 1. So now your updated sum value is 1. This is the way how it stores. Next, what you are doing, my dear students? I plus plus. What is the I value previously? I is equals to 1 previously. Now what is the updated I value now? 2. Very good. 2. Again checks the condition. Yeah. I less than or equals to n. So your updated value is I is 2. Is 2 less than or equals to 10? Yes. Again go inside. Sum is equals to sum plus I. What is the updated sum here in the first step? 1. So in the second step, sum is equals to sum. Already sum value is 1 plus what is the updated I value? 2. 1 plus 2, which is equals to how much you got? 3. Your updated sum is 3 now. Immediately what you are doing, my dear students? I is equals to I plus plus. I plus plus is nothing but increment. Your updated I value will be 3 now. Again go to the condition. While I less than or equals to n. So what is the condition? What is the updated I value? 3. Is 3 less than or equals to 10? Yes. Go inside. Again sum is equals to sum plus I. Your sum is, what is the previous sum? 3. What is the updated I value? 3. So your updated sum will be, sum is equals to sum plus I is the formula I wrote. Sum is equals to, what is the updated previous value sum? 3. What is the I value? 3. 3 plus 3 equal to 6. Can you tell me what is the next step? Yes, very good. Most of the students got the answer in their mind. I is equals to 4. 4 less than or equals to 10? Yes. So sum is equals to 6 plus 4 and so on. Finally, it prints your answer if you print 55 on the screen. Now tell me, your I value becomes 11. At one stage, your I becomes 11. Is 11 less than or equals to 10? No, the condition becomes false. Then will you go inside the loop? No, you won't go inside the loop. You have to come outside the loop. What is there in the outside the loop? You have to print sum value. What is the final sum value you got on the screen? 55. So it prints 55. But here I have taken example of 5 elements. You can take the n value as 10. If you take n value as 5, it prints 15 on the screen. If you take n value as 10, it gives you 55 on the screen. So this is the way how to find sum of first n natural numbers using a while loop. In the same example, if you carefully observe in do while loop, what is the thing you have to change? Same, initialization is same. Instead of directly writing the condition, first you have to write in do. Do sum is equals to sum plus I. What you have done immediately? Formula is same. Increment. Once you stop the do, close the do, immediately you have to write the condition. That is what the difference you can see between a while and a do while. right? I hope understood how you are going to solve the same program using while and do while. Only the syntax will be the changed. The set of statements what you are going to write, and what is the condition you are going to write, and what is the initialization what you are going to do, everything is same. The only thing the change is the syntax. So this is the way how to find sum of first and natural numbers using while and do while. So, and finally, my dear student, in this session we have learnt about a very important types of loops which can be solved a real world examples like a while loop and a do while loop, and most probably most of you have learnt the difference also between a while loop and a do while loop. If you want to print the statements at least once, will you go for a while or a do while? Yes, your answer, yeah, I know your answer, it's there in your mind. You will go for a do while. Sir, no sir, I want to print the statements once the condition is satisfied. Yes, your answer is while loop. So this is the way how we can differentiate between a while loop and a do while loop. And these are some of the assessment questions. You can see what will be the output of the program, and you can check what is the I value and what becomes a j value, right? So what is the correct output of it? Check it and you can execute it. Continue statement. Now we have not done, we have not yet completed a continue. So up to now you can able to understand the difference between a while and a do while. So at the end of this session, what you have learned, my dear students, what is a loop, what are the various loops we have in C, what is the difference between while and do while. And finally, these are some of the reference books and this is the end of the session, my dear students. Hope everyone understood the basic concept of loops and how many types of loops we have, and the basic difference between a while and do while along with the syntax. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Thank you. Thanks a lot, my dear students.
Done.